and then some parts of
Oh, okay.
some parts of Stacy, but like on certain sides of it, just depends on where the house is. Nothing on the other side of 403 except for Danbury, Lakeview, and Highview. All those houses will live in the county technically. And then 160 stops like right here. Saddleback is included in the city limits. And then down 62, there's really nothing on Highway 62 that's technically. There's
So
no
High
residential
Jackson
there.
and all that is not.
High Jackson is down to about where the cell tower is, before the big turn. So like Jordan Drive is,
Right,
yeah.
there's the big first turn.
and like Woodford Farms and all
All
that
that,
is,
okay.
yeah, and all through this area
I
of
still
town.
forget that there's Woodford.
Yeah,
So, cornfield.
Anyway, all right,
Ready to go?
5 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and, so,
Trina, I will have to leave at 6.
okay, I don't think most of what we need to do will take that long, but.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. It is June 12th, 2023 at 5 o'clock p.m. And this is the first official meeting of the City of Charlestown Disability Advisory Committee. I am Mayor Hodges, and I'm only leading this meeting until we get to the point where you have officers elected and in service. At that point, I will turn over responsibility of the meetings, and you guys will operate self-sufficiently from that point forward. But to get us through our first initial meeting, I am here. We usually begin our meetings from the official call to order with the statement of the Pledge of Allegiance. So I would ask everybody to rise if able at this point and say the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Got my list. For this first meeting, since typically the way we do is just call roll call, but for this first meeting, I would like for everybody to state their name as a part of the official minutes and just introduce yourselves very briefly if you want to for the folks, and maybe stay within one sentence of why you're here. So we can just start here at this position and go around.
I'm Ashley Tones.
And if you'll pull your microphones, it helps on the recording and on the live stream if you can use your microphones.
I'm Ashley Tomes. I've lived in Charlestown for several years. I am here because I've been wanting to help in any way that I can with accessibility, and this has kind of been perfect for that. And I am a Crohn's patient, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart.
Great, thank you, Ashley.
Melinda Feltner, I'm a registered nurse and also have a silent disability. So I'm here to help facilitate with that.
Wonderful, thank you, Melinda.
Cindy Gross, and I'm from Charlestown, been here all my life. And I'm just here to advocate for the little ones. So for kids like myself, like our kid Jaden and Cash, and help with them.
Wonderful, thank you, Cindy.
I'm Marissa Knoble. I'm the Director of Parks for the City of Charlestown. Been here pretty much my entire life. But the reason why I'm on the board is that I can advocate for myself, but also for everybody else as well.
Thank you.
I am Liz Hardy. I serve as an autism coordinator for Greater Clark County Schools, and I service New Washington schools and Charlestown schools as my predominant schools.
Wonderful.
Amy Benavides, I am a Charlestown resident. I've lived here pretty much my whole life, and I'm here to advocate for my 5-year-old daughter that has several disabilities, and for other parents like me who had no clue what they needed to do to help their children with these disabilities.
Wonderful, thank you all so much. So you'll notice that one of our original named members, Dale, is not with us, Dale Best, and he did ask me to explain that after accepting the position, his family had an opportunity that they could not pass up to relocate back to their original community in California, where they have abundant resources, and he can practice the ministry outreach that he's kind of requested. He said all the places, all the things just kind of fell into place, and I certainly understand those life changes. And so Dale served as our adult advocate. He also had a child who had a disability, so we will be, looking to replace Dale on the committee, but moving forward, that would be the membership. So we do have a quorum. That's something we always establish at the beginning of all of our meetings with our roll call, and a quorum simply being a majority of members present, which if this is a 7-person board, 4 people would constitute a quorum. As far as the agenda, this agenda, like I said, we created for you guys just because it was an introductory meeting, need to get established, need to get the officer positions done. So everything we have is new business tonight. And we will begin with the election of officers. And so the way this works, well, let me pause for just one moment before we do that, because once we elect officers, I'm going to turn it over to the president to run the rest of the meeting. And I do want to acknowledge that this is an open meeting, that we do live stream these meetings, and typically the agendas will have an opportunity for public comment to be made as well. We do that with all of our public meetings in the city. It's just good practice to allow members of the public to come. We do have some members here today, 2 guests, and then our council president, Ruthie Jackson, has joined us as well. But one of our guests I think is important to note, and that's Jennifer David. And Jennifer David runs and manages Outward Bound Support Services, which is just a couple doors down. And this committee exists largely because of Jennifer's recommendation, research, and informing my office in the need to establish a committee like this and how that would be done. And so it's very right that we recognize Jennifer's contributions to the existence of this committee. So thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. It's great to see everybody up here. I'm smiling because it's nice to hear that people are going to have a voice.
Thank you.
Proud of you all. Thank you so much.
For bringing that in. So now, moving on to election of officers. So we do follow Robert's Rules of Order, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a little bit. But following the election of officers, there are 3 officers that this board needs. A president who serves as the presiding officer at the meetings. A vice president who serves in the place of the president, should the president be out or have to miss a meeting, which happens sometimes, and that's fine. And then a secretary, and the secretary probably has the most of the grunt work. So this is the person who types up the minutes from each meeting, and generally will do the agendas and get those agendas to our hands, before each meeting, and so we can publish those for you. So the way that elections work is I open the floor for nominations. If there is only one nomination, if no other nomination is made, it's general consensus. If there's one person, then you don't actually have to have a vote. It's just assumed that the one person that's nominated will accept and take that role. If there are more than one person nominated, then we have a vote to determine who fills each role. So at this time, I would open the floor for nominations for your first position, which would be that of president. This would be the presiding officer for each meeting.
I would suggest this.
We have a nomination of Liz Hardy to serve as president. Are there any other nominations? Good. Liz, you okay with that?
Okay.
All right. General consensus is that Liz Hardy will serve as our president, which means somebody else will have to take minutes. Good deal. I'll see you at least through your elections, and then Liz will turn it over to you to run the rest of the meeting, which most of it is just me talking and Harry when he gets here. He is on his way, our attorney, to explain open door laws. So at this time, we would open the floor then for nominations of vice president. This person will fill in for Liz when she's unable to lead the meetings.
So with my position with the city of Charlestown, I'm not gonna lie, it is very time consuming, it's very busy, my schedule can be very, very, very hectic. If nobody else wants it, I'll gladly do it, but if somebody else would be willing to do it, I think Amy would be a great choice.
Marissa just punted that over to Amy.
I was kind of an AP to her.
I accept it. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for vice president? Hearing none, it sounds like Amy will be your vice president. And then now the nominations for secretary. Again, the meetings are live streamed. We do also have a standalone recording. The minutes do not have to be in extreme detail, just an overall summary of what happens. We retain the records of all of these meetings digitally anyway. So the minutes are just there to remind everybody what happened in the business meeting, and specifically to take note of any votes that you do and the counts of the votes. The agendas usually are generated from the meetings, and so they'll basically write themselves. And things that will come up that you'll be working on, so they're not that complicated. But I do need somebody to serve as secretary. And you can self-nominate too, you can say, hey, I'll do it.
I can't type.
I'm like her, I got a lot going on, so.
Actually, it's not looking good.
I'll nominate myself.
Is that okay? Is everybody good with that? No other nominations for Ashley? Okay, so Ashley, you'll serve as the official secretary. Now, this is, this is for the first year. You can always re-elect officers next year.
Yeah.
Or if someone starts having trouble with something or needs help, we're here to help, so that's not a problem. All right, so your officers have been duly elected. Madam President, congratulations. I will largely turn the rest of this meeting over to you just to see us through. There's no votes tonight. It's mainly just informational. So, I'll let you lead the discussion, when we get to that point. Perry's on his way, our city attorney, and although he is next on the agenda, we can wait a minute and we can just talk about open door laws. Robert's Rules of Order. First, I guess it would just be important to ask, has anybody not participated in meetings before where you've had to use Robert's Rules of Order? Does everyone understand? Okay, so there's a couple. I printed some of the basics for you, and there's a couple of different handouts there. You can read, we're not gonna read through all these tonight. You do not have to do that. Since this board, this committee is simply an advisory committee, you're not handling money. You're not making monetary decisions. You're basically getting together to perform some tasks on behalf of the city, some reviews on behalf of the city, and make recommendations to other decision-making government boards and bodies. But because you do make recommendations to, in theory, the mayor's office, the Board of Public Works, potentially the Redevelopment Commission, and the city council, you are required to meet under open door laws. And generally, Robert's Rules of Order is a good way to keep things moving on track and provide some consistency. If you've watched any of our public meetings, that's the way we conduct our meetings for city council, board of works, all the meetings we have, we use Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order can get extremely complicated, but for what you're doing, I don't anticipate it getting into those weeds. So I didn't give you the whole thick book, just printed off some guidelines. In general, the president, which since Liz has experience with this, will be great because she'll just be guiding the meeting and she can talk you through what she needs to make those decisions. But if you look at it, essentially the president leads the meeting. You'll begin your meetings the same way we did, with an official call to order. For the person taking the minutes, I always try to provide a transcript verbally. So I always try to say, this is the date, this is the time, and have that so that they have that clearly in the recording, in the live stream. I do the same with the votes. When the votes are called in, I say who made the motion, who made the second, and then I say whether the vote was unanimous or who abstained or who said nay. That way, a verbal record as well, so you don't just depend upon the visual in the meeting, because that can get confusing. So after the or call of the order of the meeting, we always have the roll call, and that can be as simple as just calling out everybody's name and doing a check mark, and just saying we have a quorum, and establishing that there is a quorum. Hey, Barry.
Hey.
We skipped you for just an hour, I'm just kind of hitting Robert's Rules of Order. If I miss something that you think that we need to say, feel free to pipe in. Not all of your agenda items are going to require a vote. This board is I imagine a large part of what you do is going to be open discussion. The times I can see you doing a vote, your standing business will be to approve your minutes of every meeting that you've had previously. We will house a copy of those minutes. What you will do is, so at your next meeting, for instance, there'll be a vote to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. If there are any edits, you would take care of those at that time, and you vote to approve. Once they're approved, we will have a sheet where you will sign that you approve the minutes, and we will house those here for you, a copy of those here for you. As is our standard practice for such things, in case anyone needs to see those. They will also always be published with the meeting packet before each meeting. So that meeting's minutes that are going out will come out with the agenda and be sent out. And so that's not a problem. So that's one thing you'll vote on every time. Other than that, the times that you will vote will be in instances where you want to make a formal recommendation to one of those boards. So if, for instance, the Redevelopment Commission, for instance, is looking into the establishment of a civic center, right? And so if you in your research and the things that you do, you have recommendations for that, and you want to type those up and make a formal recommendation that they consider some aspect of something, then that would be something you would vote on. So typically, the way a vote happens is it's placed on the floor by having a motion and someone saying, I move that we consider such and such. I move that we approve the minutes, for instance, and then someone else says, I second that. And then the chair will say, okay, the motion is on the table to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? And that's where you can have conversations about things that might need to change or not. If there's no discussion, that's fine. And then the chair will call for the question or call the vote and say, all in favor, say aye. You say aye. Any opposed, say nay. It's an opposed, and then she will note whether that was unanimous or not. Okay. The only other types of motions that you would need to really be aware of are things like, if you can't make a decision on something, you don't want to vote on it tonight, you can table it till your next meeting. You can say, I make a motion that we table this and get more information. Somebody would need to second it, and then the chair needs a vote to table that motion. And that means it just goes on your old business for next time. You're just not taking action on it tonight, or that night. And then sometimes there's a need to amend. So you might have a motion and a second and have an item on the table, and during discussion, it might come up that there's a fundamental part of it that needs to change. And if that happens, someone can go in and make a motion to amend, someone can second that motion, and then you can actually have discussion and action on the amendment itself before you adopt the final amended version, okay? Liz, can you think, or those of you who've done this before, any other things besides that you imagine the board needing to do? Other than adjourn? It's the same thing, you make a motion to adjourn, second, and vote.
Couldn't think of anything
Yeah,
else.
it's pretty straightforward. I don't imagine this board getting into the weeds on complicated Robert's Rules of Order things. But you can look over the public meeting notes there on that, and if at any time you've got questions, just let us know. I'm happy to talk through whatever we would need to talk through. So I guess I'll turn it back over to you and bounce back up to Carrie if you want.
Yeah. If you're ready to talk over some of the
Sure.
open door rules.
So Perry missed the introductions. So this is Ashley, not that I expect you to remember everybody's names, but Ashley, Melinda, Cindy, of course you know Marissa. Liz has been elected president, and Amy. And so Liz is gonna serve as president. Amy's our vice president, and Ashley was the one who was designated as secretary.
And I assume that you're going to create, when you're going to meet on a regular basis, and go ahead and notice that publication, that this is going to meet every I don't know when, but whenever, and make sure that that agenda is posted. As far as that, I mean, if you're going to have any special meetings, there has to be 48-hour notification. For example, if you have a meeting and you want to reconvene that meeting again, rather than your regular, you have to do a 48-hour notice publication by posting on the door. And I assume we'll notify the news media like we do most regular meetings. Other than that, basically making sure that the public has access to what you're doing is all that's really important. I'll give you the meeting records and public notice. It's kind of laid out in statute, but also laid out in easier terms to read. If you have any questions about anything that happens to come up, I'm always available to call before a meeting, or if you need me at a meeting, I can come and be present for that as well. But basically making sure that the public knows if there's any changes in that meeting, that you notify in that regard. If it's going to be re-meeting, then make sure you notice from that too. Keep your records, those are accessible to the public as well under the Open Records Act. If there's a request, they're entitled to see what happened in your minutes of the meeting and what you considered and what you may have voted on and not voted on. Again, you're in an advisory capacity, so I won't say it doesn't apply fast and hard, but you're not going to be under the same scrutiny if it would be the city council or some other elected body. That's about it. I don't know if there's any specific questions.
Meetings of members outside of.
Yeah, that you're not wanting to meet outside if there's more than a quorum
Four of them
together, then that would be considered a meeting that would have to be noticed to the public. So any type of discussions like that is inappropriate. Collectively, you need to if you meet collectively or with quorum, then it has to be public notice.
And that's 48 hours business hours.
48
Weekends don't count, it's business days.
Business days, that's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So that doesn't mean you can't get together in social functions and things, it just means if you're discussing business related to the committee, there should not be more than 3 of you gathered at one time talking about those things. Making sure that,
It would be considered a meeting.
yeah, that would be considered a meeting, an unpublished meeting. Any document that comes forward before the committee becomes a public document, since these are public meetings. So as you get into the tasks of what you're doing, there might be times where you have assessments or you have groups that, you know, I don't know, donate their time to do certain things. There might become documents that are produced. Those documents that are produced, if they're passed out and distributed to this board for your review, they become public documents. So just make sure that anything that you do in your meetings, I don't usually sit up here for these meetings. I'm only here to help guide you through this meeting. Normally, I come, but I sit down there and just, I'm always here for advice, but it's your meeting. But if you do have documents that you use, you want to make sure there's enough copies and that we are left a copy. Every time you meet, I will have a copy of your minutes for you to sign. And you'll need to make sure before you leave that you sign those minutes. And leave that for us with along with any documents so that we can keep those in the clerk's office, clerk treasurer's office, and make sure we have full records of anything in case anyone asks. My assistant Jenny is able to help you actually with distribution, so when you get the minutes typed, I'll make sure you have her email address. You can just email to her and she will be happy to email out the packet every time. As long as she has the documents that you guys need to send out, that's fine. You can send stuff through her and she'll get it out in the packet. Yeah. And I guess during the discussion, you guys can decide how often you want to meet and those things. So anything else on open door?
I know this is an advisory, and you may have people that come to the meeting that are, and there's no requirement under the open door law that you allow the public to speak. I assume you may want that to happen in this particular situation, but there's no requirement of that. Only in certain situations where a public hearing is required, would that be necessary. So that's just something to keep in mind, but I would imagine you want all the input you can get from the community under these circumstances. Basically, you receive information, deliver that, make recommendations, establish what you want to recommend, and take final action by making a vote. And pretty much all that. That's.
And Perry normally probably won't come unless you need him to come. If you are considering something that if you have questions about legal, if you're looking at a project, for instance, and you need to know the ADA laws or the city's commitment or the city's perspective on that or what the city should have to do and you need his legal expertise, by all means, just give him a heads up, send what you're doing. You can certainly contact him as an advisory committee for that.
I'll give you my email and my cell phone number. You can contact me anytime.
So I'll let you move on to discussion.
All right, so I guess first order of business is how often we want to meet. Are Monday nights a bit pretty open for people?
Yeah.
Okay. I know at the initial meeting, Treva had mentioned possibly quarterly. I don't know if we need to do monthly, so I'll open that up to see what you will think.
Maybe monthly for the first 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
I agree.
All right, so is that a formal motion?
That is.
All right, so Amy motions to meet monthly for the first 3 months, and then that would be, I guess in September, then we can reevaluate, so. Does anybody second the motion?
I'll second.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just making some notes for myself. So monthly meetings, the second Monday of the month still work? 5 o'clock work, or do we need to talk a different time? Okay. All right, and then Marissa seconds. Any other discussion?
Just
Open it up.
one question, the second,
Sure.
before the planning commission.
Yeah, it's usually fine, as long as they're at 5 o'clock, it should be fine. So the second Monday of every month, the planning commission meets generally, but they're at 6:30, is that, Ruthie, is that 6:30?
6:30.
They're at 6:30?
Yeah.
So they meet at 6:30, so if you're meeting at 5, that should give you plenty of time to do what you said.
Second Monday.
Yeah.
So if there's no further discussion, all in favor for having monthly meetings from now through September at 5 on the second Monday of the month, say aye.
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 Unanimous vote. So that'll, our next meeting then, let me pull up the date, will be July 10th. I will actually be out of town, so Amy can. Unless they want to change that one, I will be out of town that day.
I'm gonna motion that we change it because I think I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay.
Starting on the 7th, so
Okay, so if we push it then to the third Monday of the, so we need to amend.
what's that?
The third Monday would be the 17th.
I'll be back. I'm good for that.
The chamber is available then as well for you.
Okay.
5 o'clock. On the 7th.
That works for me.
Okay, all right, so we will move that first meeting and then we'll go back to the second Monday of the month then. For
I would just, and I'll make sure that we publish the notice for you
August.
on this, at City Hall on that.
the second Monday of, for August will be the 14th. And then the 11th for the month of September.
September 11th, city offices are closed, I think. No, they're not. Wait, no, they're not. No, they're not. Never mind. Just making sure.
Okay.
We're not
Well,
off that day, are we?
if that changes, we can.
We're not off that day. Labor Day, we're off.
Labor Day, you're good.
Instead of Monday
Yeah.
before.
You're good. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm like trying to flip through my calendar, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I should've probably done
So I guess as we move in for any further discussion, if we want to discuss what role we're gonna have, what our first order of business would be moving forward. I know Treva had mentioned possibly taking a look at the parks, the pocket parks throughout the city.
Do we have to invite them up or do we want to?
I honestly don't even know where they all are. I know where a few of them are offhand.
I got a list on the popsicle things.
Yeah.
There's 6, right?
7.
There's 7, okay.
Anything else that we want to discuss, potentially looking at between now and, not necessarily to be done by our next meeting in July, but just as we're moving forward and thinking about things, are there any upcoming events, Marissa, that we may need to talk about the accessibility or?
I mean, I think you could really start anywhere. So like our Arts and Enrichment Center, we rent that out a lot. So it's a building that gets used a lot throughout our community for meetings to weddings to birthday parties. So it would be a bad idea to also start to look at that type of space. And then City Hall is always an option as well because it is, one of your primary location through the city. Everybody typically will come here at least once in a while. So I'd like to add in that City Hall and A&E building as well as the pocket parks. Family Activity Park is also another big one that would be good. But that would also cover most of the parks programming of where we host things, how we do things. That would cover most of what we do.
Okay. And I will say, I was very pleased at the resurfacing of the water area
Yeah.
for the,
Splash pad.
for the splash pad,
Yes.
yes. Last summer, I witnessed, I think 7 or 8 kids in a row
Yeah.
used it on that, running on that slick.
Mhm.
So I was so pleased when we went it.
Yeah.
There was new floor.
It has been a saving grace a lot so far.
Yes.
It's been very much worth the money that was put into it.
Okay, so do we, there are 7 pocket parks. Is there a quick, I don't have internet access.
We do have a guest Wi-Fi. I'll get that for you. So I don't have it
Okay.
memorized, but I'll get
No,
it
no,
for
that's
you.
fine. We can just split up. Does anybody have one in there close by that they want to,
Oh, I just have one in the neighborhood,
okay, so,
Danbury Oaks.
okay, so. Melinda's gonna take Danbury Oaks. Anybody else have one for sure that is close to them that they would like to?
You've got Danbury Oaks, Ashley Springs, Saddleback, Woodford Farms, Knoble Park. Gee, I wonder who should do that one. Ben Bertram Park,
Okay.
Heritage Place. That's it.
Okay. I don't have a preference, so
Neither.
I can do the family activities center.
okay.
I can do the A&E, because it's right by the house.
Okay.
You can give me 2 more of the pocket parks, I think, or 3, whichever.
Okay, yeah, I've got it.
And I don't mind double teaming with somebody either, you know, it's.
Yeah, we might want to with the
Yeah.
activities park and the
maybe
enrichment
A&E,
center,
Yeah.
those being bigger, we can just touch base and email out or 2 people go and then discuss.
I also wouldn't mind looking at Greenway. I know there's been some discussion about the parking. So,
And Greenway is where the,
the playground, I would,
yes.
yes.
Okay. How far out are we with that?
So they're supposed to have the equipment in August, so we're hoping by the end of August, early September, that should be completed. I just talked to the rep there, and she still says August is still on the timeline for all of that, so.
Okay, are there any materials that are currently there, any of the playground equipment currently there staying, or is it all staying?
It will all be gone.
All be gone,
It'll
okay.
be all replaced, all of that, so.
Okay. In the meantime, is there any way to lower the swings? Over there, my mom
No,
said it was very difficult, she could not lift my 4-year-old up into the swings.
I can make a note of that and get
But
that.
I
fixed for you.
don't know, and I don't know where we are in the process of anything else, but with the new park going in Treva, will they be looking at parking or anything else, that revamping
So
entrances?
we have talked about parking. The short-term solution was that we added there was not a wheelchair space on the Spring Street parking, so we took away one of the parking spaces and created a handicap spot that has the ramp access for wheelchairs, and then that way they can get off there and use the paved path to access the park.
Okay,
So that is the short-term solution, because the longer-term solution in talking with our building commissioner and safety officer and our engineers is that we need to do a ramp down from the upper level parking lot, but it's going to require some significant engineering and costs, because the slope of that hill is such that it's gonna have to be switched back all the way down. And so that's gonna be pretty significant. And so, they're aware of what they need to do. We're planning on asking the engineers to start looking at that and saying what can we do? So, yeah, we have a short term, but then longer term, we know we need to do it, we'll switch back there.
all right.
They also know that the bathrooms, that's something Marissa had pointed out, so the bathrooms need to be updated as well, so they have plans to do that.
Okay,
Yeah, because that is something that, as we get that ADA compliance playground in, I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a necessity to have bathrooms that are open during the day at least,
mm-hmm.
so.
So of the 7 pocket parks, I will take, I'll do Ashley Springs. Marissa, will you do Knoble?
Yeah, that's fine. It's my favorite part.
Ashley, do you have a preference of Heritage, Saddleback, Woodford?
I'll take Heritage.
Okay. Cindy, is there one close that,
It don't really matter. What's available?
Saddleback?
Saddleback.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and do the other one, that was everybody in. Okay, so I think that gives us a good starting place. Anybody have any other discussions?
I did want to offer for the board's consideration, Allison Woosley, who is she's the coordinator for the Office of Aging and Disabled Citizens of Louisville. She saw our first call out. She's contacted me back to when we first announced the call out before the board was selected when we were asking for applications. She's contacted me, and she wanted me to make sure that when the committee came together, that I shared with you all that you were welcome to attend their meetings if you want to get a perspective of, they are far more established, and they're local, fairly local. They meet by WebEx and in person, at the Thrive Center, which is 204 East Market Street on the first Monday of every month from 2 to 3. So this is in Louisville, but it sounds like they have a WebEx platform. So what I will do is I'll get Jenny to send out her contact information if you want to meet. She also said that she would be happy to come to meet with you, to come to one of your meetings next month or the month after, as long as she had a conflict tonight and couldn't come tonight for the first, but she said she'd be happy to come and just kind of describe what it is they do and the types of projects they take on and how they do it, to help give you some ideas of how to keep, consistent momentum moving, so.
Yeah, I think that would be very beneficial.
So we can have her come over and do that. So.
Do we want to go ahead and find a second person to go with the assigned people for A&E and annual activities?
Yeah, maybe.
So then, a second person for A&E.
So Ashley and Melinda are hitting up the families at Kinloch Activity Park. I'll do the enrichment Annie. I think the only thing left would just be, but I know Greenway is gonna be changing in things I mean, it sounds like everything there is in progress, so. Any other types of events or anything else coming, community-wise?
I mean, we have the square obviously with community days, but then we're also, the 90 acres park is eventually going to be hopefully a civic complex type thing. So I'm sure we'll probably want to have some discussion as that starts to develop. As we start to get the blueprints, what does that need to look like? What do we need to make sure is included into that?
Right.
So that would probably be not a short-term thing, it's gonna be a long-term thing, but just to kind of put on
Absolutely.
everybody's radar that will probably get brought up at some point during the next year.
I know, just if I may, from programming, so we do have Founder's Day coming up, which takes place in 2 locations. So there'll be the car show on the square, and then the vendors in the Miami Indian Village will be set up down in Greenway this year. And then at the Balloon Globe portion of the concert out at the Little League Park, which we do have expanded accessible parking now because with the Civic Center down, we have more room to put people that need the special close parking. Otherwise, we have golf carts. So what we tell people is we try to save that parking for folks that use devices that, like walking assistant or wheelchair devices, because it's hard to transport those on a golf cart. But if you can get in a golf cart and ride, we encourage everybody just to ride the golf cart. So we do that, but we have expanded space available there for that, and it's on a paved pathway to get to the concert area, so that's not too hard, but we always make sure we have a accessible porta potty, not just regular porta potties too there. But it'd be nice if any of you come out to those festivals to just keep an eye out for things that we're missing. And, you know, it'd be good to just kind of have your feedback on that. Also during those events, we have previously had places that reached out for quiet spaces, like to create. So we've had church groups, for instance, that have done nursing stations for moms, spaces for children with sensory issues that need to get away and decompress, so those kinds of things. So we can put out a call for that. Last year, did the church do it?
Yeah,
Jennifer, were you open?
Um,
I'm sure.
well,
I think Jennifer was open too.
Jennifer opened her up, because I think it was either Jennifer or it was, the Methodist Church.
I think the Methodist Church,
Because I think they opened up their house.
yeah, they opened up their
Like
house for
first
that.
aid
Yep.
/ yeah.
They opened up their house for anybody who needed a quiet space to get away from the festival during community days as well in September. So those are the kinds of things we usually make sure someone is doing, even if it's a tent off in the back somewhere. But with Jennifer's space and the Methodist Church using their house, that was very beneficial. So, from a festival perspective.
What are the dates for the Founder's Day?
June 24th is the big day, all day, it's a Saturday, and then community days will be in September. That's, I think, 16th, is that 15th, 16th, or 16th, 17th? Yeah. 15th and 16th September. And that's all of Carolyn Square, community days is all of Carolyn Square. And fireworks, so one of the services we do provide, because we also are a Hidden Heroes community, which acknowledges our military caregivers and military families and veteran families. And so what we do have is people can sign up with us for advance notification of things like fireworks that are off-season, so that if there is a person living in a home that has anxiety due to loud fireworks, we can give them a special private notification, email notification to say, hey, this is the date of this. And we have one family that has signed up for that right now, and we usually send them an email because we do our fireworks in September, so it's off season. We let them know and remind them because they're expecting it 4th of July, but they're not expecting it in September. So we usually try to keep them in the loop of when that's going to be. Just another thing that we try to do. So if we miss, even down to things like that, if you think of or aware of, like share this.
How do you make more people aware of that service?
Well, we have it on our website, and when we were designated ourselves as a Hidden Heroes community, we kind of put that out there that we do that. So people that are caregivers and they see that we have that, they'll go there and it's listed on the website as something that we do. So, yeah. I think this is a good place to start, Rose.
Amy also mentioned Founder's Day Parade.
Yep.
Float.
Oh, yeah.
Would that be something that we would want to
promote
and put together for?
Put our faces out there.
Mhm. I think the more people know that they can come to the meetings and share their ideas, the more ideas we get, the better off we're gonna be. Like I said, the goal of this group, we're never gonna achieve perfection, because it's always gonna be a moving target. But the more we can do to check off the boxes towards perfection, the better we're gonna be as a community, more welcoming. So, I mean, there wouldn't be an issue with that if they wanted to put a float together, would there? No. Yeah. No issue.
Okay, so.
And the entries are free, all you gotta do is let us know.
So I need to make a motion
I don't know that we necessarily need a motion
for that.
for
What
it,
did
but
you have in mind? I'm sorry, what did you have in mind?
I didn't really have anything specifically in mind, it's just that I didn't know if anybody would want to do that. If we could, we wouldn't necessarily have to even have a float, we could walk. I could see about maybe, since it's just a few of us, I probably could find somebody that could maybe make just a generic shirt that said, you know.
I was just throwing the idea
Just
out there.
whatever.
If the train is ready, could we not just ride in like one of the train caboose things and just have a banner that says, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, you are, no, it's a good idea. But you're a part of it, you're an advisory committee for the city, so I see no reason why you can't get on you could have one of the cars on the train dedicated to you we have, Brian make up a sign on it that says, Charlestown Disability Advisory Committee, and those that are able to walk could walk near, beside, and those that, could. We always usually put out a call for any elected officials that want to ride the train, and we'll do that. It's usually, but the train holds 45 people. So there's plenty of room on the train to put, and it's usually very lightly attended, or, there's only a few of us usually on it, so we have room to put people. And it is, from where it docks, it is accessible, so if there is somebody who's using a wheelchair that needs access to it, there is a tool or a ladder that we can use, a bridge, whatever you want to call it, that gets us off, and the entries to the carts are compliant, so that won't be a problem.
Okay, so you said somebody could make a sign
Yep.
for us?
Yep, Brian can make a sign.
Okay, and you know somebody,
Checking the shirts.
okay, yeah, I can do them, but I have too much going on to commit to doing that, so if you could do that, that'd be amazing. And then maybe get together some goodies to
Yeah.
toss out.
So this will happen before your next meeting, so just keep it in mind.
Yes.
So, Amy, you might want to go ahead and get shirt sizes so you don't get it from people. And anything that we need to do to help you gather information, like I said, you'll have Jenny's email address, and Jenny can help coordinate, wrangling everything that you might need.
I'll send out an email for all of our ladies' shirt sizes.
Fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
I don't think that all has to be public, in the public record.
No. I think you're fine.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Teresa, can you think of anything that we might have?
I have so many goals for you, but I'm not going to overwhelm you on
No,
the first night.
right,
I
but-
think that you have a fantastic start, and I'm not going to abuse your volunteer time, and I'm greatly appreciative of your volunteer time, so I'm not going to abuse you with all of the things that I hope that we're able to accomplish with this group. I think this is a great place to start, and I thank you all for being willing to start. And I'll find you your Senate member.
All right, so it is 5:46, 5:47-ish. I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second motion.
Anybody need to discuss? All in favor of closing the meeting?
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned.